Hey everyone, this is part 4 of 4 of my video guide to new strategies in 1.15 as of March 2021. This video is going to be fully focused on igloos and igloo routing and trading patterns. I have a previous video on my channel called Speedrunner's Guide to Igloos, which goes over the basics of this, different trading routes and patterns you could do with gold or without gold. That was focused on 1.14, first and second day, so this video is just going to be purely in 1.15, but the mechanics are going to be very similar. So again, it's going to be broken up into first half. I'll show a flowchart, and the second half of the video, I'll walk through an actual example run I did using this igloo strategy. So the fastest kind of igloo strategy in 1.15 is going to be finding an igloo first and beginning the curing process. The zombie villager takes an average of 4 minutes to cure, so you really want an igloo very close to spawn. You want to be able to do the curing as quickly as possible. If you come across some iron or a very easy way to make tools first, you can do tools before that, but in reality there's a crafting table in the igloo, and so you could kind of make all of your tools there and just start the crafting sub 1 minute into the run. The incredible thing about version 1.15 is that you can, using the pie chart, scout for igloos very effectively at spawn. So if you just spawn and see a tundra around you, you can open your pie chart, shift F3, and see if there's a brewing stand and a furnace with no bell. And that's going to indicate there's an igloo nearby. You can use some kind of reasoning by moving forward or backwards or left and right to determine roughly where the igloo is. But as long as you know it's guaranteed within a certain range around you, they're much easier to spot because you have a lot more confidence. After you started the curing process, you're probably going to want to get the materials required to get ender pearls. A nice round number to remember is 12 gold and 12 emeralds. That's kind of the quickest route to just get 12 pearls. If there's a village right next to the igloo or on top of the igloo, you could still technically just do chopping wood strategy. You need, with no gold, about 3 stacks of logs or 2.5 stacks of logs, so it does kind of take a while. It's not a very fast strategy, but it is possible to do that. If you have an ocean, that's by far the best route because you could get lucky with shipwrecks and buried treasures. You could also do one full Fletcher trade for 16 emeralds and then try to do caving strats. So you would go down to the bottom basement of the igloo and then hopefully run into a cave with a lava pool, some iron, some gold, and smelt enough gold to get all of your pearls as soon as you're out from the nether. Once you've gathered all your materials, you should get the zombie doctor achievement at some point. It takes, again, an average of 4 minutes for the zombie villager to cure. The trading route is pretty simple. It's just going to be 10 emeralds and a redstone. As much gold as you can, but if you have at most 12 gold is one full emerald trade. And then we'll have to burn 2 emeralds and 2 glowstone, and then we can get all 12 pearls. The glowstone trade here is by far more effective than the lapis trade for leveling the cleric and emerald efficiency. So if you have a minimum of 6 gold, that will completely skip the lapis trade and give you the ability to do all more efficient glowstone trades. The rest of the route is pretty straightforward. The only 2 other items you need are beds and blaze rods to be able to finish the game and get to the stronghold. So you can actually do the beds and the nether at any point during this route. I just suggest trying to cure the zombie villager first so that any extra time you spend in the overworld, either gathering beds or food or something, is while the zombie villager is curing. And second thing to know is that igloos are technically the only viable strategy right now besides looting 3 that doesn't require a village at all. You could actually just get maybe shears from a shipwreck or something, or kill sheep along your way to the stronghold for beds. So if you can get at least a minimum of 10 gold from some source, you can just use 1 Fletcher at the bottom of the igloo for 16 emeralds and actually get all of your pearls that way. So technically you don't need a village, but it does speed things up quite a bit. All right, so here is the example speedrun section of the video. This seed was found by Eric the Goose and sent to me. I got a 1731 on this one after about 5 attempts. I'll put the seed in the description below, and I'm just going to speed up the first part of it. So this is a pretty solid seed with a shipwreck and buried treasure next to an igloo, fairly close to spawn. There's a village and a lava pool that leads to a fortress, so it's pretty solid. I will slow this down right here because I want to talk about the pie chart. The pie chart is absolutely huge in tundras because if you're in this iteration of the pie chart, you can see there's only mob spawner and chest showing right now, which is pretty common underground, but I'm looking for either a bell, which indicates that there's a tundra village, or just a furnace and brewing stand with no bell. And you can see right here, the furnace and brewing stand pops up at the bottom right there. And so that's telling me because there's no bell, there has to be an igloo, and there's a good basement section to that igloo because there's a brewing stand. So I'm also facing east at this point, which is when I cross the chunk boundary going east, these things popped up in my pie chart. So I know that that means that the igloo has to be on the eastern facing maximum rendered chunks in my current position, which you can actually barely see the igloo right now just over that hill because it has to be within a certain range facing east of me right there. So you can see it just over the water there. There is an igloo, and I know 100% it has a good basement section to it. So I think this is a super powerful tool. It tells you essentially a direction and a guarantee for a good igloo, which gives you much better reset efficiency in tundras. And I think this is actually a viable strategy now. And just a good amount of iron from that shipwreck chest, and I'll slow down so you can see the loot from the buried treasure as well. So yeah, 10 gold and 7 emeralds, 15 iron and 2 diamonds is the total loot there. And at this point, it would have been nice to start the curing process first and then do all this stuff, but the shipwreck and buried treasure were just before the igloo. So it does take me about 2 minutes 20 to actually start the curing process on the villager, which is a bit slower than ideal, but it's still really good. I don't quite have enough gold and emeralds just from that initial loot to do the full trades, so I'm going to have to just chop wood here and make a Fletcher down there with the other villager. And again, I think a lot of people think igloos are kind of a meme, and they're just not really a viable strategy, and you're never going to get a good one. But I think it's the seed you could get and the time you could get on that seed would be insane in an igloo in a best case scenario. It's like people grinding for 1.16 and hoping to get a completable ruined portal right off spawn and running right into a bastion and just leaving a bastion at 3 minutes and something. It's like, or a blacksmith that just has 20 obsidian. It's like one of these very fringe case scenarios, very, very rare. But when it does happen, I think it's really valuable to be prepared. Because if that buried treasure had 3 diamonds instead of 2, let's say, that would be an insane run. Because right here, I'm just too fast, so I have a lot of waiting time. I'm just waiting around for literally a minute and a half. And if there was a 3rd diamond in that buried treasure, this time could be used to mine 10 obsidian from a lava pool that is directly beneath this igloo. So it would be a nether travel run with 10 obsidian mined by hand, which would be absolutely crazy. So I think it's very important for runners to, if they run into a god igloo seed, to know how to execute it, because it could be an insane world record. I'm going to slow down the trading here, but it's just a simple 10 redstone trades and then 10 gold, which means I have to do 4 glowstone in this case. And that would give me 12 emeralds for 12 pearls. And there you go. So all pearls before 7 minutes, which is, again, kind of comparable to Insomniac strategy. But there's a lot you can do while waiting around. If there's a village close by, again, I could have gotten beds while I was waiting, or food or something productive, but this village lava pool is a little bit further away, so I can't task overlap too much. But still, nothing to laugh at, you know. Getting 12 pearls sub 7 minutes in this category is still an incredible run. So I'm keeping the pie chart open here because I'm just running along this until I find a village, essentially. And here you can see a smoker and a bell and a blast furnace have appeared on the pie chart, and I'm running kind of northeast now, so I know that there has to be a village somewhere northeast. It doesn't mean it's in the exact direction that I'm heading, but it does have to be roughly northeast, and you can barely see it over the hill here. I am going to skip the village and hit it up after the nether, but you can barely see a tip of a house on that village. And again, this run could have been much, much faster if all the structures were close together. We kind of had to run kind of far. This lava pool does take you to a pretty good location for a fortress, though. You just have to dig through this wall, and there's a fortress right here. So I'll probably just speed up the whole blaze fight. This, I think, was an open spawner, so I didn't do any blaze bed or blaze TNT or anything. And in an igloo run, you usually don't have extra gold. All of your gold is going to go to the cleric, so no gold for mining the spawner faster. But yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of players just reset on Tundra because they think an igloo is just kind of unrunnable and it's not a viable strategy. And just stick to something that you've practiced and you know well. But I think an igloo is a 1 in a million chance. I think each runner running this category seriously for world record should really give it a shot. So I don't know. That's my take on igloos. I might be the only one. I might be the only igloo believer, but that's fine. I'll get a good one day. And from here, kind of a late entry. I mean, ideally I'd be leaving much sooner, but still getting all 12 Eyes of Ender at sub 12 minutes into the run. It's pretty solid. And then the direction of the stronghold here is towards this Tundra village. Oh, funny enough, I actually checked the pie chart there, but there's another brewing stand that you can see on the pie chart approaching this village. And there's no church, which means that there has to be another igloo, and that igloo has to have a good basement. And sure enough, right over here, a second igloo right in the middle of this village, right here. And I already know it has a good basement. I don't even have to check it because I saw brewing stand on the pie chart. And it is definitely just 2 igloos in the seed. This one's right in this village. If you spawned here in this village, I mean, this seed would be absurd, but I'll speed things up here. This is just travel to stronghold and then a 1 cycle. It is another ocean exposed stronghold. Pretty much all world record type runs are going to need an ocean exposed stronghold from here on out in this version. A lot of unfortunate overworld travel. So yeah, I'm pretty confident with the 1 cycle with 5 beds in this version. 6 or 7 would be nicer. The dragon's a little awkward, and I don't really like to use hitboxes. But I really like the variety of different strategies in igloos because, you know, normally you think it's just an igloo strategy, but there is caving, there is shipwreck buried treasure, there's full wood, you could get gold from the fortress. There's a lot of different ways to play igloos, and you really have to think on your feet and be the most resource efficient. And it takes an incredible seed to actually pull off an igloo run. So yeah, while we're waiting for this 1 cycle to finish the run, I hope you enjoyed the whole video series. I hope you like these strategies, and I'm sure they're going to start to develop and become a lot more refined and optimized in the next coming months here as we see maybe a few more runners run the category. Who knows? I definitely will be for the next couple weeks. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed the series. Hope you enjoyed igloos. And good luck running version 1.15.